Welcome to Mr. Gossip. I am Sarah, your ultimate destination for young and the restless drama. YNR refresher, Daniel and Abby's past, and why it suddenly matters again. It's been 15 years since Daniel Romalotti and Abby Newman had a romance, but the young and the restless might be rekindling their flame. They're both at a turning point in their lives. Abby is starting to lose patience with her husband, Devin, and Daniel is nursing a broken heart over walking away from Tessa. When did Abby and Daniel date on? About Mariah. Their opposing views on the appropriate consequences for kidnapping their son are causing a rift. In contrast, Daniel believes her sentencing to a mental health facility is exactly the help Mariah needs. When he walked in on yet another fight between the married couple, it got us thinking. The year was 2010. Emmy Rylan was in the role of Abby Newman. This was back during Abby's Naked Heiress arc, when posing nude and causing a ruckus were core parts of her character. She was acting out at the time and prone to outbursts. Daniel, Michael Graziadei, found her to be a brat and once spanked her for it after a tense back and forth. But that ended up being the spark that lit the match for both of them. They began a romance. Abby framed her nudity as activism, but it was also attention-seeking and about her inheritance. Daniel wasn't left out of her shenanigans, which included recording their intimacy. She'd hoped their sex tape would increase her notoriety and infamy. Abby wanted to be a reality TV darling and didn't care what it took to make that dream come true. Though she could be mercurial, she and Daniel did have a fun and flirty connection. He supported her in her protests and stood by her despite her family's position on her actions. Abby helped him, too. She used her name to get an art critic to one of Daniel's shows, which led to commissions for him. While Daniel and Abby's romance wasn't exactly serious, they did care for one another. He was in the midst of divorcing BNB's Amber Moore, Adrian France, and Abby was busy provoking her parents. But they made it work and may have gone the distance if Daisy Yvonne Zim hadn't revealed that she was pregnant. Sheila Carter's daughter had drugged Daniel when he was married to Amber. He didn't want to believe his rape resulted in him fathering a child. However, Abby chose to take a beat. He needed to focus on the paternity test and the direction his life would be taking if he were the father. Though they were no longer together, Abby did remain in his life as a friend. At one point, she attempted to restart their romance. But this was after she ran Tucker McCall, Stephen Nichols, down with her car. Between a confession tape that was disappeared, a brief stint in rehab, and making amends for what she did, Abby had a lot going on. Abby also had a producer who wanted to use her scandals to drum up buzz. Uninterested in being party to a life under a microscope, planned or otherwise, Daniel chose not to get back with Abby. How YNR could rekindle Abby and Daniel's romance. Abby, Melissa Ordway, doesn't have a shortage of people to talk to about Mariah's Cameron Grimes. See what she's been up to, case. But she may need someone to confide in regarding the toll it's taking on her marriage. Daniel has a stake in what happens, too, but he's in a unique position. He wants Mariah to get better for her sake and Tessa's, Kate Fairbanks. He's in love with the singer-songwriter and is waiting in the wings for her if her marriage doesn't work out. While Daniel isn't hoping for Taraya's downfall, his heart is on the line. He could use someone to talk to about his own feelings who likely won't pity him. In a similar fashion, Abby is getting looks, too, but hers concerns Devin's anger and how it's escalating a situation everyone thought had been settled. If Abby and Daniel become each other's sounding boards, it could lead to an unexpected resurfacing of their past affection for one another. Going down that road again would make things even messier. Daniel got involved with Tessa despite her being Mariah's wife. He got his heart broken in the process when he decided to step back so that she could work on her marriage. He'd be falling into the same pattern with Abby. A distressed, married woman on the outs with her spouse isn't someone to get involved with, even if it's only for a moment. For Abby and Daniel, That's likely all that it would be. Though they're not the same people they were nearly 2 decades ago, now isn't the time to wonder what could have been. But it may be the time to make a mistake that makes the Mariah situation worse than it already is. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Kane and Billy testify against Phyllis, Christine's offer they can't refuse. Reveal that Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, and Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, could land in some trouble if Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, digs her heels in on this whole situation with Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, and Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley. Phyllis isn't the only one who could face criminal charges if she doesn't return the Newman empire like Victor is demanding. Victor's new AI program has fabricated emails and documents to prove that Phyllis conspired to steal his company. There's manufactured evidence that involves Kane and Billy, which means there's a lot at stake for them, too. In YNR's April 24th episode, Michael Baldwin, Christian LeBlanc, warned Phyllis about the potential for her to face prison time, especially since the Newmans have rounded up a bunch of division heads who are willing to testify against her. Michael also pointed out that if Christine Blair Romalotti, Laura Lee Bell, offers Billy or Kane a deal to testify against Phyllis, it's doubtful that they'll turn her down. That's especially true since Kane and Billy aren't too happy with Phyllis after what she did to them. Phyllis chloroformed Kane and stole Newman Enterprises from him, which ruined his plan to get Lily Winters, Crystal Khalil, and the twins back from Victor. Kane now knows Lily, Maddie Ashby, last played by Lexi Stevenson, and Charlie Ashby, last played by Noah Alexander Jerry, were never in real danger, but that doesn't change Phyllis's betrayal. Billy also lost Chancellor thanks to Phyllis, who signed it over to Victor without realizing Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, had already been rescued. That was a tough blow for Billy since controlling Chancellor again had been his dream for so long. In other words, Kane and Billy will have double the motivation to testify against Phyllis if the case gets that far. In addition to saving themselves, they could get back at Phyllis for her treatment of them. Will Michael's fear about Christine striking deals with Billy and Kane be proven right? Will Kane and Billy be more than willing to help take Phyllis down? The Young and the Restless spoilers say Phyllis's mess will get even messier in the coming episodes, so stick with us for any stunning news to come. CDL will have other thrilling Young and the Restless spoilers and news to check out, so make us your top YNR source. Thanks for watching, Mr. Gossip. If you enjoyed the drama, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. More shocking secrets, more emotional twists coming your way. Stay tuned, because the drama never ends.